Okay, stamp duty. We're still doing vehicles, obviously. And now we're doing stamp duty. Now, stamp duty is a really interesting thing. It's something that you have to pay on a vehicle. I will explain it when we're in class. Yeah, it's a cost by the government. Um, when you register or transfer a vehicle, there's this stamp duty. It also happens when you buy houses and things like that. It's a really interesting concept that you've got to pay this little bit of extra money because you're buying something or because you're transferring it. It's like, do they really have to do any work? Anyway, that's by the by. All right. A used car is bought for $17,730. Calculate the stamp duty payable if the charge is $3 per 100 or part 100. So that's an interesting concept there. So what they're looking at is you have to do it per 100 or per part 100. So the first thing we have to do is take our price of 17,730, and you need to round it up. So this is an interesting concept where the government doesn't mind hitting you. When you look at that and you go, how many lots of 100 are there? You would normally look at it and go, well, there's 177 and a bit. So what the government says, that bit we're going to consider it as a whole 100. So what you do is you round it up. Doesn't matter whether it's a 30, whether it's a 60, whether, our normal rounding rules don't really apply in this particular case. It's kind of like if I said, how many weeks does it take, or how many, better example. If I said, how many weeks does it take to do this job? If I was quoting on a job and said, how many weeks will it take to do this job? And if it took you 5 weeks and 2 days, you couldn't say 5 weeks because you wouldn't be finished. So they want to know weeks. You'd have to say, well, it'll take 6 weeks. So it'll take only a bit over 5, but you still round up to the 6 because you wouldn't be finished after 5. So it's similar to this. We have to round up to the next $100. Okay, so it's not the nearest, it's the next. So we round it up to 17,800. All right, the next thing we have to do is go, okay, well, how much is our stamp duty? Now, they've given it as $3 per 100. So what we can say is 3 per 100. So that's the same as saying 3 per 100, but we just write it as a fraction, 3 per 100. So I'm not doing this. Some of you might go, oh, that's like a percentage. Maybe we could go 3%. In this particular case, it is, but their stamp duty might have been, instead of 3 per 100, it might have been 3 per 200, which means it wouldn't have been a decimal. So, a percentage. So we've got to be careful. We just express it as 3 per 100. So we write it as 3 over 100. Then what we're basically doing is 3 over 100 of that's 17,800, which is the amount we rounded up to. And we will just chuck that into a calculator. Times 17,800, which equals $534. So the stamp duty payable is $534. So that is normally on top of your actual thing. So you buy the car for $17,730, you've got to then give the government $534, which can be a little depressing at times when you've just bought a car and you're budgeting for a certain amount, but that's the way of the world. Bye.